I'm trying to get into the agenda here.
Okay.
Okay, we're good.
All right. I'd like to call the Tuesday, September 25th meeting of the Finance Committee to order. Roll call.
So
Alder Galvin, present.
Alder Dorf, present.
Alder Corpus Stack present.
Alder LaFave, present.
Thank you. I just need a full name.
Motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve the agenda. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Alder LaFave. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Motion to for the approval of the minutes.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion approved by Alder Galvin, second by Alder Corpus Stacks. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the minutes. Okay, regular business. Item 1, discussion with possible action on the purchase of firefighting equipment for new engine 451. Staff. Okay.
Did see it, so you popped up.
There it is.
Officially, I am asking to withdraw this item from the agenda. When we put it on the agenda, it was a placeholder because the bids hadn't been calculated. The awards are under $25,000. So I want to withdraw it so that we
Okay.
don't have to wait to go through city council approval, and we can start issuing purchase orders this week so that we can get that equipment on order, because the engine's arriving fairly soon.
next 2 weeks.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion to withdraw item 1.
Motion to withdraw item 1?
Second.
Second by Alder Corpus Stacks. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
It's withdrawn. All right, item 2, per request by Alder Steuer to discuss funding a share of the county garden coordinator position currently being funded by CDBG funds in the Brown County if CDBG funding expires. Then be it resolved that the city of Green Bay will include 40% of this permanent position up to $20,000 annually. Alder Steuer, do you want to talk to that?
Sure. Thank you, Chair. We have some folks here to speak to this as well. I talked to Cheryl Renier-Wig about this, and she mentioned that there's a number of CDBG positions that the city has right now. And she has spoken of the fact that she thinks it's going to be difficult to do this. I'd like these citizens to talk about why I think that it could work. There is a position available. It's a county position right now, but it's only funded through the county, and it's a coordinator position over at the Brown County Extension Office. And I think the thought here is that 70% of all users of these community gardens live in the city of Green Bay. It's a benefit to the neighborhoods, to society, whatever you want to say. There's a lot of positive elements with gardens. So I took it upon myself to at least get the communication in to allow the citizens to speak on this. And I know with tight budgets and all, we have to look at this very carefully. This is 40% of a position. But with that being said, I would entertain for you to open the floor to let the citizens speak. That's all I
Okay.
have right at this moment.
Motion to open the floor?
Second.
Okay, motion by Alder Galvin, second by Alder LaFave to open the floor. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
I have 4 slips in front of me. I have a Tricia Murphy on the list. Would you like to speak?
Thank you. I work at Green Bay Community Church, and we have a garden there. I think it's one of the largest gardens we have.
I'm sorry, I should have probably asked you for your, we do have your name and address. I don't know
Yes.
if we wanted that for the record.
Oh,
do you want
say
me
it
to
out
state
loud.
it?
Yeah, thank
Sorry,
you.
Never been here.
Nope, that's I'm
Tricia
probably
Murphy.
safe.
My address is 1683 Forest Glen Drive in Green Bay.
Thank you.
And as I said, I work at Green Bay Community Church. We started our garden about 6 years ago, and I was actually the one that had to take in and manage this garden, and I know the job it was to do that. So when the position came up with UW Extension and they offered to manage it, I was more than eager to have them do that. I know what they do. I know they promote the intake of gardeners. They manage the gardeners. She takes care of the funds, the training, the prep of the garden, the plotting of the garden. There's 60 plots. She does all the communications, managing the upkeep. They wrap up with the gardeners. They plow the garden. That garden is one of the most beautiful things on our property. On top of that, I know that the families, we see them in and out, come and go in this garden, and it's become such a place of community where they talk, they get to know each other, they share secrets in gardening. We've had folks that have come out and learned from people that are veteran gardeners. So that's one of the reasons why. But I think secondly, I know what she's asking for, and I know how difficult it is working on a staff there to hire for folks that don't get benefits. And I know how much that would increase probably the attraction of the position would be to have those benefits. And as we know, do you not know that?
What, no, benefits? What was that?
Did
Oh, I
speak
didn't,
out
no
of
one had
turn?
just mentioned.
No,
We'll
cover it.
Okay.
She'll
Okay,
cover-
she'll
all right.
cover it. Sorry
Okay.
about that.
All right.
I apologize. But second, lastly, I'll just say this. We're going to expand our gardens, double it where we're at, and we're excited about it. The gardeners are asking for it, and I know if that had to fall onto my plate to manage, it would be very difficult. And so I'd hate to see it go. I know it would be difficult for us to maintain it, so I just, for what I'm saying, I would love to see it continue. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
I just, with all the food that you raise, where does it all go, or, you know?
Oh, yeah, thank you. I'm so glad you asked that. So the families, for the most part, they garden on their own and then they take the produce. But we do have a program within our church called Circles, and those are families that are working to get out of poverty. We have currently about 18 families, and they gardened a plot this year. They taught the kids how to garden and what they get from it and the benefits from it. That's one of them. We also have a pantry that the gardeners actually bring in produce, their excess, and it goes toward this pantry. And so families, about 150 families in the area, benefit from them bringing in things. And so not only does it serve them, but then the families that are in the gardens that I know of are, for the most part, people that struggle to find places where they can garden. This isn't just a hobby. This is livelihood for them. So this isn't, I think I'll just plant some flowers. So, yeah, thank you for asking. And I know that they have a way of calculating how much our garden brings out, and I think in the years past, they've averaged about $60,000 worth of produce comes out of just our garden alone. And so it's pretty exciting. Any other questions?
Oh, sorry, the next item on here is a Laurel Last. Can you state your name and your address, please?
My name is Laurel Last, and my address is 954 Rockville Road. So I actually live in the village of Howard, but I've been with the garden program for about 5 years and 2 years on the board as a volunteer, coordinating actually the same garden at the Winnet Community Church. And just from my experience, I just think it's an awesome program. It helps people that don't have a place to garden on their own, primarily people with lower income, renters. There are a lot of minorities that are gardeners at these places. And personally, I just think it's been such a great advantage to us to have a place where we have our own soil and can grow our own healthy local produce. It's educational as far as kids. For example, my son, a lot of times these days they don't necessarily know where their food is coming from, and they can help in the garden and see, how to grow things, and sometimes they're more likely to eat them if they help to grow them. And there's the social aspect of people getting together and sharing gardening tips or that sort of thing, and also it's just as far as the program itself. I mean, since I've been involved in the program, and especially being on the board, of course, I've gotten to know Margaret and know all the work that she does to keep this thing going. I mean, she's the glue that holds the program together, and I think it would be awesome to do whatever we can to make sure that the program is sustainable and to help her be able to remain in the job and to get the benefits that she deserves from all the work that she's been doing.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Any questions? No? Okay.
Next person we have on the list is Ethan. Can you state your name and address, please?
My name is Ethan Nordyke. I reside at 3221 Nicolay Drive. I am also on the UW Community Gardens Board. This is my first year on the board. I've been gardening at Church Road which is just north of the university, just off Nicolay Drive. And they're big plots, they're 50 by 50 plots. So it's a lot of work. And the gardeners up there put in a lot of time. Some of them 4 hours, 6 hours a day in the mornings and the evenings. It's a very, very diverse group of people that are gardening up there. So being raised in the Midwest, I see all these vegetables that I've never seen grown before. I get to learn different ways and techniques of being able to garden. Just today I was up there in my garden and we got a lot of rain recently, right? The gardens are flooded out, so anything in the ground is like rotting. So I'm just trying to pick out the tomatoes that are left and some of the peppers, and I got some pumpkins left, and I go to wash off my tools by the hose that's there. And there was an older couple, and I said, what are you guys growing? They're washing off these, they kind of look like a big turnip. And I was like, oh, okay, what are you doing? He had a whole bucket full of them. It was really neat. And I said, what are they? He's like, yep. And I was like, do you cook them? He's like, yep. I was like, do you eat them raw? Yep. And he didn't really know what I was saying, but we kind of talked. I just kind of broil them, cook them, how do you do them? And I started washing my tools off, and he grabbed 3 of them and gave them to me. Like, I was like, it was really, really neat. It was like really, like we didn't speak the same language, but we're still understanding each other. And so and that's happened before, we give out these Green Thumb Awards to the gardeners if they do a good job. And everybody in Church Road got one this year. But I was handing them out, and a gardener came up to me and gave me like a whole bag of just cucumbers. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't need more cucumbers. But then that's the kind of relationships that this program fosters, and Margaret is really behind all of that. She spends time and time again organizing groups from the university, different church groups to come and help clean up the gardens, put them back together. Let's see, we have a program, Planting for a Purpose, where we've been growing food for different food pantries, and that's thousands of pounds of food we've raised and donated. So those are just some of the programs. But so I'm just in support of it and helping Margaret better quality of life for her. So thank you.
Any questions? No? Okay, thank you.
And then we have one more item, one more person, Cheryl Williams. Step up, name and address, please.
I'm Cheryl Williams, and I'm at 1924 Evans Court in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And I have, let me tell you, I've been volunteering with the program since 2013. I sent all of you some way, either physically or as a link, a huge document, which was a white paper written specifically for political decision-making by non-position taking, but just information about the program and its funding. And it used, for whoever else is, just to remind you, it was federally funded, and those funds have dried up. Funding a position is very difficult in grant money. They always want to see like what you're doing new this year, which isn't conducive to a sustainable program. So some of the things that the gardens do, besides the main gardens, is they do parky education. We had a teen farmers market both last year at the Boys and Girls Club and this year through a foster care group, and we're talking about expanding that next year. We, meaning I'm a volunteer with the garden. 1 year I ran it, and then I got a Vista. So the funding totally failed. And so I was the one who presented it to the county and got the 60% funding that we have. So this program, we've tried multiple boards, we've tried multiple fundraising. We started a Friends of the Community Garden, yay rah, got everything we could do. We have like $7,000 on that. So we're not really good at that. But we focus. We don't focus up at the fancy fundraising part and galas. We are always doing canvassing in low-income neighborhoods to make sure participation in the gardens is diverse. And we work with St. Norbert recently, the Center for Economic Development, to talk about where is the right place to place gardens, where do we have high-density housing, where do we have high immigrant population, where do we have low income. So we really, really focus. And the nutrition education program, started this program 22 years ago, but has become unsustainable. Now, I want to say the City of Green Bay has been a phenomenal partner. So the question with benefits comes up. So Margaret is designated this year as an LTE. They have put, and I'll share these numbers. I just got these fresh numbers from Judy Knutson from the Extension. She's the director. And I think I pretty much state her position. Her position, I said, Judy, could you support what we're doing? And she said, we are very satisfied with the CDBG funds and $12,000. So I asked her to break that down, and that's a spreadsheet you have. The position with Fringe is, which includes things like vacation or PTO, which Margaret does not fully have right now, is $55,000. The annual county funding that we got in 2013 was $35,000. This year, in budget, not approved, the county has found another $8,000. So that's why they only needed $12,000 from CDBG funds this year. Historically, Green Bay has given up to, I think one year it was $24,000 when we did not yet have county funding. So the City of Green Bay was the first to step up and say, yes, we want these gardens in our low-income neighborhoods. They're beautified, they support our population. So we are very thankful. So why am I here asking for a resolution? The standing offer outside of budget from the county is that if we can get a commitment to funding, and I'm not asking for any of your 2019 budget dollars, and I know that may seem like a technicality to you, but I don't think it's a technicality. We're asking for a resolution that should CDBG funds fail, that the city will be our partner and bring a not up to $20,000, which was the resolution, but they now only need 22%, not 40% of the funding, because they have permanent county funding in tax levy, county tax levy for 43. So now they need 12,000. So the resolution would be that the city of Green Bay, should CDBG funds fail, would be the partner for the other $12,000 or 22%, however you would choose to write it. Obviously, I would prefer it to be 22% because things can change, but I don't see them changing a great deal. So the official county position is, we're so thankful that the city of Green Bay has been our partner, and that's my position as well. As a citizen and as somebody who's worked really hard trying every way to figure out how to make this program sustainable and that we can keep our community garden coordinator, who is bilingual. She's culturally sensitive. She's lived abroad. She was, and it's not just an individual, right? But it is an individual too. She was, as a teenager, on the Madison Community Garden Board as the secretary. So she has deep, lifelong experience in community gardens. There's a web of relationships the county has created to sustain our immigrant populations. They have trust built up, and that's very, I don't know if fungible is the right word, but it's tangible and it's important to the program. So my take is, my statement is that the budget from the county is not approved. The standing statement from the county is that a commitment from the city would guarantee that Margaret would become an FTE and that she would have a full Fringe package, which I then interpret as vacation and paid time off, so that she's not having to bank every time the extension's closed on Christmas or Thanksgiving or whatever day that she's not paid, which is the current situation. So that's where benefits come in. A commitment of $12,000 would allow the county to move her to an FTE with a full Fringe benefit package. But the commitment from
including
you-
health insurance and such?
Yes.
Is that what you're talking about?
And she did get health insurance because of the requirement from Obamacare
Okay.
previously. And I also, the gardens, I should have said this earlier, but they have 5 main benefits, which are listed in the green below. It's kind of like a unit study. Gardens are everything. Gardens are health, they're exercise, they're neighborhood beautification, they're everything. But these gardens, I'm sorry.
That's fine.
These gardens produce 10 gardens, over $300,000 worth of produce annually. The majority of gardeners are low income and majority minority. I think even in Tricia's community garden, there are 4 first languages, even in Howard, and even more elsewhere. So that's my request. Any questions?
I have no questions, I just got comments. Being on the county board, I know all this, and I know Margaret very well because I was involved in the community gardens with their garden blitz.
Mm-hmm.
I helped build
Which
the
is one of our
boxes
programs,
and
too.
deliver them with the ground, and the people were really excited.
Huge community
Just excited to get it,
effort.
and a lot of people volunteer for that. It's a big deal, and I couldn't do it this year, which but because of all the things going on, but I really miss doing it because I love to see the excitement of all the people.
And that's a
involved in
really
this.
valuable program in areas in the city that have toxic soil. So we really try to heavily promote in areas that have lead in the soil, the blitz beds, because you bring in clean soil.
Mhm.
Yes, Alder.
Thanks, Alder. I was wondering, Cheryl, how many plots are there in the city of Green Bay right now?
I'll look that up. There are 300 in the system, and they're heavily focused in Green Bay because the ones outside of, that are in the county are, as Ethan, 50 by 50. They're very large. So you may have 16 plots in a huge garden. Those gardeners are,
Well, it shows 10 here.
there are 10 gardens. Each garden is a site and has multiple plots.
Right.
Okay.
So, so there are 300 individually rented units. We keep rent very low. They're $25. It basically makes sure people come back and keep it weeded.
Yeah.
Was the one on, there used to be one by Chapel School.
Yeah.
Is that still there, or is that a different organization?
That one is managed by, the one and only garden that's managed by the city of Green Bay. In the city of Green Bay, again, forestry department, they maintain that one. They have it right in their mission statement that they support community gardens. So they often, in our city ones, till the gardens for us. Sometimes we'll spread compost. Yeah. So did I answer your question?
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Okay. I can find, but there
You
are
had said
300.
70%, right?
Yes, 70%
So it'd be
of
like
the
210.
individuals, yeah.
210.
Was quite a bit of that on some city property or private property?
There are, a lot of it, we take advantage of all kinds of places. One is right under the Ashland Bridge and Department of DW, I don't know, it's Department of Public
DPW.
Works. Right, it's Ashland Bridge easement it's a state easement
Oh.
that the city of Green Bay has facilitated us getting approval to use that. So we use a lot of found land. We have a very old garden in 8th Street, right beside the big power plant there on, at the 8th Street Park. We have a lot of private land. The largest land donors are churches such as the Sisters of St. Francis and Green Bay Community Church. Green Bay Plastics, another really old one on Maple and Augusta downtown. And we do soil testing. We make sure the gardens are composted. We make sure that they're clean and safe. And we do a lot of education, pest control. Any other questions?
Do anything about the mosquitoes?
We wish.
So you're looking then, what you're looking for is the resolution, to approve this resolution for up to $20,000.
And I would modify that to 12 or to 22%.
22%.
Because they
percent,
have.
we should do
Yes.
22%.
Yeah,
Yes.
just do the
22%.
22%.
I'm not going to make the motion, but I'm just clarifying it. And I talked to Director Grenier, wait,
Judy Knudsen?
or, no, Cheryl.
Cheryl
Grenier,
Mhm.
wait, yeah, she isn't here. But, and, yes, and we normally get this grant money. It almost never doesn't happen. I suppose if it didn't happen, we'd have to take a look at it that year. But staff, do you have any recommendations for us? Maybe we should close the floor.
Could I
Make-
ask a
sure.
question?
Yeah, sure.
So when you say that you're looking for a resolution, and I just want to make sure that this isn't an issue of semantics, and maybe, I don't know if legal or Diana, if you'd have to answer this too, but is this a permanent installation that obligates the city council indefinitely to provide this funding? Is that what that
Yes.
means?
I think the county expressed to me what they needed was a 3-year commitment. It could be amended to be a 3-year commitment.
That makes
Okay,
sense.
and I just wanted
We
to,
could renew
I
it
wanted
every
to be
3
clear that
years.
that's what was
Right.
being asked of
Yes.
the committee.
And
Okay.
so
So that
if
should
like
be
this
stated
year,
in
so if we
the-
did approve a 3-year plan,
Right.
and this year there were CDBG, the
Whatever that
funds.
is.
And if the next year they went away, then we would be on the hook to provide 22%
Okay.
for 2 years and then revisit it again.
Enough conversations with Cheryl. By the way, Bill has taught me to say block grant instead
Block
of.
grant.
all
There you
the
go.
Block
others.
grant.
Too many acronyms.
It's easier.
Any other questions?
No, thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion to close the floor.
Motion to close the floor.
By Alder Galvin, second by Alder LaFave. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, floor is closed. Alders, discussion.
I would ask, finance, how long have we been getting these block grant monies that have provided for these gardens?
This is a recap from Cheryl's presentation at RDA from September 11th. It just basically says that the city has provided land at no cost in the past, that our parks staff has also given some assistance. The CDBG funding has made some bricks and mortar improvements, and then fourth, that the CDBG has been offering assistance since 2013, so 5-6 years.
Okay.
And then Cheryl continues to say that, you know, her other issue is, at this point, they plan to continue this $12,000 or to, continue this program unless the CDBG money goes away, and that has always been talked. There is always chance it could go away. But this is a small portion of their money. If and when all CDBG money goes away, we have 6 other staff members that also the money would go away. So, this is just a small portion of that.
So we would potentially lose 6 staff members, or the funding for 6 staff members.
Correct. So that's just a recap from Cheryl, I guess, from the financial perspective. Every budget is unique and different. It's offered up by the mayor that's elected at the time, and there's a different council. I think it'd be very tough to obligate future budget monies that are, each year we have to decide on a budget. And like you said, what we would be doing is at this point, and we would be obligating future budget money.
How we doing?
Well, if we did a 3-year plan, we obligated 3 years' worth, and just pull a figure, I'll say it's 12,000, and we don't use it because we have the block grant funding. At the end of the year, that would be a surplus that could be used to offset the next year's budget. It would just roll over, per se. And technically, our only out would be having 12,000 sitting in the bank, waiting for that year we don't have the block grant money. At the end of that 3rd year, if we renegotiate another 3 years, the money could then continue on, or if the whole thing falls through, it's surplus that we have.
I had never even considered that we would put $12,000 in a
Yeah,
budget
I didn't either.
until you find out that the money would be going away. Then the
Right.
next budget, you would potentially have to consider whether or
Right.
not you could.
Yeah,
But
I
I'm saying
don't think
potentially
we-
the biggest cost to us, an outlay at first would be, if we did choose to put the money aside, but because the block grant money comes, when is it allocated out? When do we find out if we're gonna have that money or not?
Middle of the
I
year
think
you're
it's
in.
spring.
Middle of the year
That
Yes,
you're-
yes, the year
to
that you're
apply for the
in.
next year.
No,
No,
to apply to your
for
current
your
year.
current
So
year.
wouldn't we have to budget for January 1 to have that 12,000 sitting there? Because if it didn't, then we'd have to go to
If
contingency
you were to
fund.
approve
Yes.
this resolution, yes. I guess when you word it that way, yes. If we don't know if CBG money is not going to be approved until spring of the year in which they said they were going to use their funding, it could be gone.
Right. And who provides this money to us, state or federal, or both?
That is a federal program.
Okay.
Federal program.
All right, thank you.
Alders, let's
To me, this is a wonderful program, because I've been involved in several areas of this program, and I know how good it is. I garden myself, I love gardening. Unfortunately, this year, my garden suffered because the weather. I can't handle the heat in Dew Point. Just really bad. But I don't think the 12,000 is a burden on the city. And the city themselves said that they like the program, they want the program to continue. I would like to see us put something in that would be realistic, and I think this sounds like a realistic request.
Okay. Alder Corpus Tax?
I think it's a good program. I like it. I see the benefits of it. Where I have issue is if we don't get the block grant money, then we're losing 6 positions, yet we're funding the community garden. The council's funding a community garden. And I realize that it's $12,000 and it's not, it's not a big amount, but yet we've lost 6 staff positions.
Well, then wherever the staff positions are from, then those people are going to have to step up or, let us know. I don't know who the other staff people are. What programs, where they.
It probably doesn't even matter, because we'd have to find funding if they were under contract or whatever.
Well, if
whatever.
we
Yeah,
For the
lose
rest
the
of that
funding.
year, if we lose the
We're gonna end
funding,
But if we-
we'll be.
If we
have to
lose the
pay everything.
funding, do we need the positions for what they're doing? I mean, is there other monies we get from block grant money that these positions use that money to do their job?
In some cases, some of them are fully funded and some are partially funded from CDBG. So whether or not, if the program went away, I guess we would have to reevaluate.
But we're
If these
gonna
are
be
full-time
doing-
positions or,
Yeah.
Can I ask what positions those are? You know, what,
this is again from Cheryl's note. It looks like two neighborhood specialists, a CD coordinator, a front office staff, a public arts coordinator, and an accountant. Thank you.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I'm supportive of this. I think, I don't feel that this funding is going to go away, especially in the next 2 years, when we're still under the same federal president, so I don't think it's gonna go away. And it's not, and our citizens are benefiting from it, and people that need this food are getting this food, and I think we have some obligation. I know mostly the county does take care of the health services and those kinds of things, but I think that the city should step up. And if after 3 years they wanted to do it on a yearly basis, maybe that's the way of going. But county's asking for 3 years right now in order to ensure that this position stays. And I think we can risk that $12,000 a year for 3 years. So.
Yeah, after hearing how many people, you know, that this benefits, and not just putting food in stomachs, but also develops our young people, gives them the ability to technically, you know, you can give a guy a fish, or you can teach them how to fish. And we're teaching people how to garden and create their own food, and can it, and save it, and eat it. And I mean, those are just valuable lessons that, you know, we're going with the farmer's market thing with the children at 2 other foster program, and also at the Boys and Girls Club, which is another organization that could really use a lot of items like this to help these children as they grow. I agree though, you know, 12,000 versus 6 staff positions, but I still think that outweighs, even that 12,000 outweighs those 6 positions as it pertains to what we can do, the good we can do for the community. I understand the city already puts in a lot of other brick and mortar with land and Parks and Rec, and even our own garden that we have at Chapel School, but there's programs that the city has, but this one really hits me, is really impacting a lot of people positively in so many different ways. I support the resolution.
I got an antidote too. This involves your son, Ned. Yeah, it's involved with, the city had their sustainable group, and we were going there, and it was a little bit of spinning our wheels, and we're trying to get some community garden going. And some of us, what we did, we went to, one of the neighborhood associations. Can't think of it. Anyway, their park. What we did is we had somebody would read a story at the park, and we decided to coordinate with her. She was going to read a story about tomatoes. And so what we did is we went to the farmer's market, got fresh tomatoes, we got fresh mozzarella, and fresh spinach leaves. And what we did is we did a roll-up with that, and the children that came, they could have this. And all those children, because it was an inner city park, well, a lot of those children don't get fresh vegetables and that. They couldn't believe they scarfed everything up. I mean, there was nothing left. They just loved it. And then we also planted in these buckets tomato plants. And those kids were just delighted to get this. So I know the value of this for, you know, especially the inner city, because those people don't have big yards. They can't plant, you know, there. A lot of them are renting too. And they come from areas where there's not, or in their areas, they don't have grocery stores. All our grocery stores are out in our outside.
Okay, so I would entertain then a motion we're going to change that resolution a little bit, I think, to the 22%, is that right?
Right.
Yes.
I'll make
3
a
years, yeah.
motion that the city sets up a 3-year agreement with the Brown County government to supply 22% of the salary and benefits for this position.
I'll second.
The county garden coordinator position.
Starting what year? You said not 19?
We do have funds for 2019, but those funds, we do have CDBG funds. They have not approved the last bit of the county funds. So they're off. I'm sorry, you didn't know what
Let's
before.
assume 2019. Yes.
Would that be
Yes.
contingent on approval of the
It could be, we could
2019
do,
budget?
they
Right.
could do 2020 because we have CDBG funds for 2019. And the very fact you're making the resolution would show them that they
Right.
can,
So
will appear at the
this
county.
would be
They-
for-
they- they can- yeah, yeah.
So this would be
Yeah,
for the
we- yeah,
2020
support.
budget, 2020, 21, and 22.
Mhm.
What's that?
I don't know. I'd feel more comfortable if it was 19, 20, 21, but
Well, she
I
said,
understand that they do.
Well,
but
actually,
we'll-
the resolution is if CDBG funds fail. So
I
it
think
could
we
be
should start
19,
with that
20,
And
21,
then be done in 20.
All right.
unless you're, yeah.
all right, that's fine, that's easier,
Okay,
cleaner.
yeah.
So, yeah, okay, so the motion again?
The motion is that the community garden coordinator position, that the city will provide 22% of the wages and benefits for 3 years, starting in 2019.
Is there a
Did you
cap?
say if-
Is there
A
what?
Contingent on,
Yes.
Contingent on the
Laptop.
CDGB
Yes.
funds failing.
Yes.
and do you want any cap on it? Otherwise, it would be difficult to budget for 22%.
Well, I understand that, but if we enter into a, like I say, it's $12,000 and it goes up to 12,500,
Right.
Yeah.
then.
So should the cap be 20,000? Because we're not going to get anywhere near it.
Right, I'll make a cap of 20,000.
Does that sound reasonable, Diane?
Yes.
And I'll second that. Okay, motion made by Alder Galvin, second by Alder LaFave. Any more discussion?
And again, so I'm sorry for stopping you, but is that a contingent on if it's approved in the 2019 budget? Because you're asking me now to put it in a budget that we're currently working on and making cuts from. So,
I am asking you to put it in the budget. I know what's gonna happen. It won't be in the budget unless we put it in there. And then we'll have to readdress it at that meeting and,
Okay.
And we're counting on the grant money really to be there, but you're saying we have to, well,
he's
we have to-
asking to put the dollars in it and obligate the dollars in the
if
2019
we
budget.
don't obligate the dollars and we find out in March that we're gonna have to go to the contingency fund or find the money somewhere else. And I mean, if that's something that you think as a finance director, that's easy peasy to do, someone should.
Is it, is our best, is it best to obligate the funds? If we had to choose between that or just believing that
If you were
grant-
guaranteeing obligating the money, you probably should put it in the budget.
I think so. I think the next year, then that money rolls over. And then we don't, it becomes kind of a non-item.
Yeah. But not 20,000 doesn't roll over.
Yes.
Because if you obligate,
20,000, you're. we
If
have-
you don't use it, it rolls over to the next year.
typically it doesn't in a 101 fund, absolutely. I mean, if you don't, it just goes your fund balance. You don't get to maintain that dollars.
Well, we enter, if we have a resolution for 3 years,
Yes.
and we have an agreement with the county that we're guaranteeing 3 years, and we set 20,000 aside the first year and we don't use it, why wouldn't it be there the next year?
Because anything in a general fund, if you don't use it, it gets rolled. You really lose it. If you don't spend it, you lose it. It goes just rolls back into fund balance. It could be, I guess, we could use it we could move it to a balance sheet account. You could be obligated and set it up as a payable, long-term payable.
Wouldn't that be best? I mean, it makes no sense to have to reallocate 20,000 when we have an agreement, and then we don't have to find it every year.
Correct, but typically anything that is not used then gets rolled to fund balance. You know,
Okay.
you don't normally get
And-
to
and what-
carry, you have to carry it over. We have to bring it through council. Anything that's carryover, that would be a carryover, that we set the money aside, was not spent, and it would have to be carried over. So it would be a council action to carry it over into the next year.
And what happens to the carryover money, generally?
If it's carried over, then it's set aside waiting to be, if it has to be paid out.
Because we use it. We use it for our budget shortfalls, right? For the,
Well, two different things. A carryover is if the money's been obligated and now it's carried over and it's set aside in a special fund in case we need it. But that only happens if we take a special action, council action. Otherwise, if it was not spent in 2019 or the year in which we set the money aside, it gets rolled, it just falls to the bottom, to the fund balance.
And so would your office be responsible to say, okay, we didn't spend this money this year, it roll over into the general fund, now I want to take this $20,000 for the next budget cycle of 2020?
We would have to bring that, if that's.
But is that something your office can do? Or does
Yes.
someone have to remember?
Yes.
is it better to do it that way?
We're making your life difficult here, and I understand that. And I want to make it as easy as possible for you, so that's why I'm leaning on you for your best suggestion how to
Yeah.
do this.
Yes, we can roll it. We can, we would bring it back to the council for, to have it rolled over, or as a carryover and set aside. for
So then
future
the grant money
expenditure.
comes in, it covers it, we don't need it, then what happens?
Then it would just sit there until the 3 years is
Okay,
over
so-
and we no longer obligated for it, then we could bring it, roll it back into fund balance.
Okay.
And we could do it year to year then, if the county's willing to do a year-by-year agreement.
Yes.
Okay. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right, item 4. Report, I think it's item 4.
Yep.
Go to number three.
No, 3.
Thank you.
Update with possible action on status of litigation in the COGB versus CIVMIC arbitration. And would someone like to make a motion going to closed session?
I'll make a motion, we go into closed session.
Is there a second? You want to read the?
Council may convene in closed session pursuant to state statute for the purpose of conferring with legal counsel for the governmental body who is rendering oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to litigation which it is or is likely to become involved. The council may thereafter reconvene in open session pursuant to state statute to report the results of the closed session and consider the balance of the agenda.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. We'll be going into closed session. Back in open session, and please open the door.
See you later. All right, thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, we're back in open session. We discussed what we said we were going to discuss in closed session, and I'll entertain a motion.
My motion is that staff follow through with the committee's direction.
Second. There's a second by Alder Corpus Dax. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Done. Item number 4, report of the Claims Committee. Would you like us to go into closed session for this?
If you guys have questions on any of the claims, we would need to go into closed session, yes? Otherwise,
I couldn't find the claims. Were they in there?
They were in there.
They were.
I missed, yeah.
I honestly went and looked for the claims and like, oh, I guess we're gonna get them.
Nope, they were in there.
Right. Where?
A paper copy if you're not able to find it.
No, I'm gonna look again. Maybe I didn't go down far enough.
You're
I
in
went-
the wrong one.
I'm in the wrong one.
there's a
Because you're in
confidential
the
package.
one, you're in Andy's right now.
Oh, no wonder I couldn't find it. All right, where?
Scroll down.
Scroll it down.
It's number 4.
Okay,
Number 4,
Yeah. click
Claims
on it.
Committee, yeah. Click on confidential. PDF.
That's where it was. Okay, sorry.
Yep, anything that's confidential, we have to
You have
we
to
have to
put
make 2
underneath
packets.
there.
We have a packet for
Okay.
those who can see it and those who cannot.
Got
so-
it. Thank you. I somehow did this another time, but, all right, let me look at these now.
I did not have any questions.
I don't have any questions.
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, we'll need to go into closed session.
Then we need to go.
Oh, then we need to go in close, I'm sorry.
No.
Okay,
Yeah.
then I'll take, would you like to make that motion and read the language then? Alder, okay.
I gotta go back to the thing.
Mhm.
Back. And I just had a statement kind of, so that way back in the closed session. Okay, that was number 3, right?
Mhm.
Okay. The council may convene in closed session pursuant to section 19.85, 1G, Wisconsin Stats, for the purpose of conferring with legal counsel for the governmental body who is rendering oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to litigation in which it is or is likely to become involved. The council may therefore reconvene in open session pursuant to section 19.852 Wisconsin Stats to report the results of the closed session and consider the balance of the agenda.
Is there a second to the closed session?
Second.
Second by Alder Corpus Stas. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We are in closed session. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to
Number 4.
receive and place on file?
Motion by Alder Corpus Stas, second by Alder Galvin. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. And finally, 5, request by Alder Nicholson for the records on finances charged by Mr. Calney for the years of 2016 through 2018, with specifics and explanations for each charge to the city of Green Bay. I say that Alder Nicholson is not here, and so should we just receive and place on file, or
Receive and place on file.
And for the record, the documents were provided to him.
they were provided? Yes,
they were.
Okay, good. All right.
Yep.
Motion by Alder Galvin to receive and place on file.
Second.
Second by Alder LaFave. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Informational 2018 contingency fund is at $87,822.39. We didn't spend any tonight. That's amazing.
For once.
And the next finance committee will be held on Tuesday, October 9th, 2018 at 4:30 PM. I will now entertain a
Motion
motion
to
to
adjourn.
adjourn by Alder Galvin, second by
Second.
Alder Corpus Dax. All those in favor? Aye. We're adjourned. Thank you. Thank you.
Good time.